A recent report has just indicated a major move set to be made by this Milwaukee Brewers team here in this offseason regarding the rotation. We're going to be breaking that down, going over what this means going forward for the rotation, as well as a very quick look at tonight, what one main issue may be caused by the Philadelphia Phillies as the Brewers look to end their 2-game losing streak in a very important remainder of the series against the Phillies. And we also have an update from The Athletic as to their power rankings and where they have this Milwaukee Brewers team. We're going to be breaking it all down. We have a lot to cover before today's game. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for all of your Brewers news just like this, post-games, everything, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We noticed that just over 98% of you guys watching right now have not done so, and we're about 150 subscribers away from 1,000. Your support's been absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate everybody watching these videos right now, but we need to get straight into this because as we get mentioned and as going into this upcoming offseason, the Brewers have a lot of stuff to do on the forefront of the pitching staff and mainly the rotation, as we have some very interesting names staying aboard here for this year. We also have some names that could be getting shipped out and are projected to get a new contract elsewhere, but we have an update regarding Brandon Woodruff according to Bleacher Report, and this one I have here comes out from Tim Kelly of Bleacher Report saying, perhaps this is too sentimental a take considering Milwaukee once non-tendered him, but Woodruff feels like a lifelong Brewer. After missing close to 2 years following shoulder surgery, he has a .369 ERA across 10 starts for Milwaukee this season. For as many notable players as the Brewers have let walk in recent years, Woodruff seems like someone the crew should try and retain, and also goes on and he says, projected to retain him. Now, this is a very interesting look, because as we mentioned a little while ago, a couple weeks ago actually at this point now, the Brewers have two real candidates to get shipped out here in this offseason. One being Brandon Woodruff, and the other is Jose Quintana. And on this rotation right now, we have a lot of young talent coming up, Logan Henderson and Jacob Misiorowski being two players that I would say next year have full-time slots here. That makes you have three. You're going to have him, or those two, I should say, and also coming into the rotation, or staying in the rotation, you have Freddy Peralta, and that really leaves two major slots open. Whether that is Jose Quintana, whether Brandon Woodruff will fill one, still yet to be determined, but at this point right now, and where we currently stand, and after Brandon Woodruff missing 2 full seasons just about, I don't think they expected Brandon Woodruff to have as good of a season as he's having him. As I mentioned coming into it, taking a look at the rotation, we just do have so many pitchers here that are available, and whether or not any of these guys will be moving elsewhere, of course, Quinn Priester as well, playing very well this year. Jose Quintana has been also very good this year. I don't think there's anybody in the rotation that we could say has been playing bad whatsoever. But Brandon Woodruff being here and having someone as much of a veteran as he is, and of course being the second oldest next to Jose Quintana, starting pitcher, regular starting pitcher here on this team, that provides an extra level of, veteran leadership on this rotation. And of course, if you do not have, just say Brandon Woodruff from Jose Quintana go elsewhere, realistically, Freddy Peralta is the oldest, and he's still only, I believe, 28 years old. That would be 29 starting next year, I guess, when it comes down to it. And the rotation being young is very good, but you also want to have the experience in the rotation. You want to have a guy like Brandon Woodruff be there to really go with some of these hitters that have been, thriving in the MLB for years. You're going up against a Bryce Harper. Yes, Jacob Misiorowski would be very good. Yes, Freddy Peralta would be very good. But Brandon Woodruff has faced that many hitters just like him and him many times. It don't matter how good of a pitcher you are. You have to know who you're going up against. I think that's a big thing as to why Brandon Woodruff would stay with this team. And continuing on that Bleacher Report article from him, this is what we have to say. Milwaukee could afford to retain him on a short-term deal, but if there's a team in baseball that's willing to overpay for a righty, the Brewers could be in trouble. Considering the lack of attention Woodruff has gotten in the most part of this year, it's hard to imagine he'll land a huge contract with teams besides Milwaukee. And I think that also comes down to the injury he's coming off of and, just being very under the radar at this point and continuing on with those stats, being such a good pitcher as he is. I think we're in pretty good shape here if the Brewers want to and do decide to go out and extend Brandon Woodruff here in the offseason. So let me know what you think about him. Are you content with Brandon Woodruff being here? I feel like Jose Quintana is more so up in the air, but Brandon Woodruff, someone who has been so consistent here over such a long period of time and being as good as he is coming off that injury, I think that he has a serious chance of staying with this team at this very moment. But on the Athletic side of things, the Athletics have ranked the Brewers as still the number one in baseball. But when we're coming down to it, showing this right now, looking at the, just the NL Central right here, taking a look at how things are going, how things are really playing out right now, The Brewers are on a 2-game losing streak, of course. One to the Blue Jays, one in the first game to the Phillies as we finish off this series here tomorrow. The Cubs are winning, and the Cubs have a pretty easy schedule, and I want to show you that right now here in a moment, but the Brewers need to get some wins. And of course, we know this team can do that. We know that a 2-game losing streak really is not much to kind of get worried over, but when the Cubs are winning very good as well, and they also have quite a very easy schedule over the remaining, month of September. This is going to be a very important month for the Brewers. And the Brewers don't have such an easy schedule. Of course, they have a few games that are going to be challenging, but you're playing the Braves twice, the Nationals, the Rays, the Pirates, the Reds, then going down to the Mets and the Cardinals again. This is something where they have a lot of games that they should very well win. Now, they may not. We know that's a big part of baseball. They lost to the Rockies there the other night as well. But going into this month, we know the Cubs are going to be playing very, very good baseball. And we know the Brewers are going to be playing good baseball as well. But the thing is, we're going to need a lot of people to step up, especially with how this team is on the injury side of things. We're very hurt. I mean, that's no surprise to anybody. I'm sure the Brewers know that. The Cubs know that. Everybody knows that the Brewers right now are not a healthy team. So heading into this month and continuing on, we're going to need to see a lot of new faces step up and really come in clutch. And I feel like we can do that. I know we can do that, actually, and especially with a lot of these names that we've spoken about over this past season. Players who may not be, stars on this team, players who may not be even regular faces. They know their role. They know that what kind of team this is, and they know that, you don't have to be a superstar to have success on this team, and that's going to be a big thing heading into this month. I want to just point that out. But tonight's game is going to be another one. I think this is a game that we really do need to win, especially against the Phillies team that we could very well go ahead and play in the postseason. Now, heading into this game, you're taking a look at Jose Quintana here up against Aaron Nola, and there's one glaring issue that we may see in this game for this Brewers team. And I say may because over the past few games that Aaron Nola has had against this Brewers team, he's been very good. And there's, of course, some absences there of a 10 ERA in one game. I believe it was 2 or 3 games ago that he did play the Brewers. He was bad, but other than that, he's been very good. And heading into StatMuse, taking a look at it, he has a 7-2 record against the Brewers with an ERA of 2.64, 95 Ks, and 14 appearances in his career. So Aaron Nola is very familiar with the Brewers team. He likes playing against the Brewers, and there's going to be a game where it's going to be interesting because with this lineup now, it's not a lineup that we've seen for the Brewers in quite some time. This lineup attacks, and Aaron Nola really hasn't seen that against a Brewers team like this before. So this is just one thing I wanted to point out that could be a big struggle here tonight. So if we do end up not starting out hot, not starting out, very quickly, I think it's okay because we got to adjust to Aaron Nola here in this game, and he finds confidence in playing the Brewers. So that's just one thing to point out before tonight's game. But of course, as we do go into it, Jose Quintana on the mound, a 3.69 ERA from him, 10-5. He's pitching very well this season, and he's going to get a very important game against the Phillies before he finishes the series off tomorrow. So let me know what you think about this here in the comments below. First of all, about Brandon Woodruff. Second of all, about the game tonight. Let me know what you think. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.